Good afternoon, and you are very welcome to Boyles here in Killorglin, and we're back for another Kerry Garden Show. Alan Finn back with you again, and this time I have got another special guest and an expert from another part of Boyles and Killorglin. We have Harrison joining us this afternoon. Harrison, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Very good, thank you.
Good, good. So Harrison, you are the tool man. You're like Tim the Tool Man Taylor here at Boyles of Killorglin. Those of you who remember Tim the Tool Man Taylor. We're going to basically talk about what is happening this time of year. So your trees, your hedges, everything is kind of a little bit messy. We've had Storm Agnes already. There'll probably be a few more coming. Let's do that. But the autumn brings a lot of change, and there's a lot of things that can be tidied up around the garden. Mm-hmm. And you were going to hopefully help us with lots of great tools to do it. So, where will we start? I guess we could start with whatever you have there.
I suppose the leaf blower.
The leaf blower, yes.
The one that most people are probably interested in this time of year.
Yeah.
So obviously now's the time where the leaves start falling off the trees. These tools from Stihl are really good. They're excellent because they're battery powered.
Yeah.
Which makes them super light, and also you don't have to worry about leads.
Getting caught or taut, anything like that. Yeah.
Of course, with petrol as well, you've got to mix them with the oil. Whereas these are very simple to use. This actually doesn't even have a battery that you take out.
Oh, okay.
It's all integrated.
Yeah.
So you literally just plug your charger straight into the back of it. Takes about 2 hours to charge, and as you can see here,
hours of fun.
Exactly. And
okay.
You'll be away with it.
I know. I must say, I was saying it beforehand there during the last storm. I did see a gentleman out doing a little bit of leaf blowing, and I thought it was the most pointless job ever with like 90 kilometre an hour winds blowing. But it is a very, very handy thing. And I say, if anyone's got any trees on their property, outside their house, the build-up can actually kind of look, not the best, like,
exactly, yeah.
So it's handy to that. Now, we do also have the old-fashioned rakes here as well for anybody who's looking for them. We have a plastic one and also a metal one. So plenty of options if you didn't want to go down the electric route. But let's keep going with a lot of this electric stuff. So we have the leaves. They're a very, very big issue with people kind of all around the garden. But I suppose there's also the sign that, the vegetation is going into hibernation. So your trees, your shrubs, and your hedges, it's probably the best time to give them a little bit of a trim, Harrison, really, isn't it?
Absolutely, yes. So it's probably the last chance now for, hedge trimmers. But this is another one from Stihl. Again, no battery that you have to take out. This is all integrated. So your charger goes straight into the back. And these are very great. You can probably feel it there.
Right,
super
just
light.
Give us how light that is. Yeah.
When you're reaching on the top of the hedges,
you're
not going to be wanting something heavy.
Do you know what? Because that's the one thing we always talk about, and that's why this Stihl range is so good. Because the other ones where they kind of have the petrol motors, they're very heavy, and like especially for anyone over the who's not really kind of used to kind of the upper arm work, it can be very, very tough.
Yeah.
So these are a great light option for doing it. Now, we did have plenty of safety things on how to do it. Are you aware of what is the best way to go cutting the hedges?
So of course, with a ladder, you obviously want to make sure you have 3 points of contact on the ladder. If you're cutting near a road, obviously make sure you wear your high-vis.
That is why, of course, I am wearing my my fine high-vis vest here that Miguel has given me. We also have lots of other ones here that are very, very light and just kind of handy. So important.
Of course,
so important.
And obviously, again, if you're working at a height, you're going to have maybe leaves, twigs falling down. So goggles are an excellent way of keeping your eyes protected as well.
Yeah. And of course the gloves, which is
gloves
always
as well.
good.
Yeah,
but I remember Trish had told me as well too that the way to actually operate it is start from the bottom and go up. So you're kind of working away.
Yeah.
And the main reason for that is if you come against any resistance, if
away
there
from
is
your body.
anything, it's kind of going away from you as opposed to going in, because if it comes down, you don't want it to get anywhere near your body and stuff like that. So if you are doing any work with this out front, make sure you start at the bottom, move up and away with that. But of course, safety is paramount. Like people also would have, they would also be using some cones outside in the road if it's a busy road,
of course.
making sure that there's a kind of a good bit of space there for people to move, because we don't want people falling, and it does happen. You lose your balance, you fall down, and that's why it's also good to have someone with you, Harrison.
Yes, of course.
Very, very important to have a second person. Now, if you wanted to go all out in safety, I like this bad boy. Now, he's stuck on top of this. How are you doing? How's it going? This is a serious thing, but this will kind of protect your face as well too.
Exactly,
any kind of bits of twigs and anything might fly. And of course, some of them can make a bit of noise.
Yes, especially the chainsaws, which we'll probably get to next.
Yeah. Let's talk about the chainsaws.
Yeah. So, quite a big piece of equipment, this one. This is a 12-inch blade. So ideal for cutting, small trees around the garden, even firewood. Now's the time where people are going to be bringing the
Filling the shed.
Exactly,
Filling the shed with firewood.
But those logs are going to be a bit too big sometimes to fit into the stoves or whatever. So this is a great tool for making sure that they are able to be cut down into smaller sizes.
And even though it's electric, Harrison, would that be powerful enough to cut through a good thick log?
Absolutely, yeah. So this has enough power. Hopefully it has a bit of charging.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
So
we've nothing to go. We don't want to break any tables or anything to give a description, but we'll take your word for it. So again, there's a little hand guard on it as well too, which is very handy.
So that's your brake. So at the moment it's up, so I can use it. But if it's down, it's not going to turn on.
Oh, I thought it was actually a hand guard, but it's a brake. Okay, so that's to stop it in case anything kind of gets away from you. Yeah, because look, at the end of the day, sometimes resistance is quite a thing. What about using it on trees? So let's just say your tree is kind of getting a bit wild and you need to kind of cut it back and stuff, and maybe there's a couple of broken branches and stuff. Is it good for operating at a height, or
with chainsaws? You're always not recommended to use it above your head.
Okay,
for obvious
very
reasons.
Important.
Kind of keep it at body level. But again, the main thing with chainsaws is make sure you're wearing the right equipment with the head safety, ear protection as well, because they are loud machines, and also chainsaw gloves.
So they're specific chainsaw gloves?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're different from your gardening gloves. They've got a little bit of extra toughness and extra protection in them, okay?
Yeah, and you can get chainsaw trousers as well.
Okay.
So the material is made specifically to, if it does catch, it will actually stop the motor and prevent any serious injuries.
Yeah, well, I suppose anybody who's kind of well used to working at that sort of stuff might know it, but then there could be, look, we're always kind of have a go. Look, geez, I could do with cutting some stuff, and maybe that chainsaw. And if it's all about knowing, Harrison, about what you're actually kind of getting into. So it's important to talk to someone like yourself in a place like this, where you just go, right, this is what I want to get. I want to start cutting some firewood.
Yeah.
What do I need?
Exactly, yeah.
Bang, and things like that, and the gloves. Now, we also have a smaller version, and this is my new favourite tool here at Boyles of Killorglin, because this tiny little fella is actually a tiny little chainsaw, and this is great. Tell me a bit about this guy.
Yeah, so again, it's obviously you can't be cutting down a tree with this toy.
Yeah, the smaller stuff.
Yes, exactly. So, very small branches. People actually have used this to cut building timber as well. So, 2x2s, very light stuff that they can use this with. But very
so you
cool
wouldn't want to be kind of measuring things too thinly. You might get the perfect cut. But look, for rough stuff, it's good. Maybe something in the shed that you might need to kind of put up bits and pieces like that. But again, battery operated, very light. It has a guard along the top as well too, which is quite good. And obviously, as soon as you release, it stops.
Yes,
it's a bit like any of the safety features that we have on the majority of these things. Now I'm going to leave back down this little safety gear, because I'm aware I might look a little silly. I might look a little silly, Harrison. You know.
Not so.
But for also looking after these things, maintenance. So let's talk about maintenance, because one thing that I'm sure everybody has in the garden, and they've been using it all summer, preferably, is the lawnmower. So what sort of things do people need to think of? Because there still might be, in the next couple of weeks, you might get a last cut. We'll probably be talking to Miguel next week about different things to do. But looking after your lawnmower over the winter when it's just sitting dormant. Most of us, and I have to say me included, I will literally just put it into the shed and I'll forget about it until next spring. but I'm not doing the right thing, am I, Harrison?
No.
Tell us what we should be kind of doing to look after our lawnmower.
So obviously making sure the deck's clean before you obviously put it away for a long period of time. So it might be a good idea just to prop the machine up so you can get to the underneath.
Okay.
Obviously because there's going to be a lot of wet grass that's stuck to the deck.
And what sort of damage can that do?
See, if it's a steel deck,
yeah, it's holding the moisture.
It's holding the moisture,
and it's going to rust and erode everything. Yeah. Okay.
So it's really important that you keep that clean so that you avoid that rust, because paint peels as well.
Yeah.
Obviously gets a bit of moisture in it.
Funny, that's exactly what's happening to my last 3 lawnmowers.
I
think I'm definitely doing the wrong thing. Yeah. So what else would you be kind of looking at as well too? Would it be a good time to say drop it in to get serviced?
Of course, yeah, definitely. And if you are maybe handy with doing some maintenance yourself, you could always sharpen the blade. Mm-hmm. It's a bit
probably a bit complicated for a lot of people.
Maybe a bit of a complicated job, but just make sure you obviously
you get it. Yeah, probably you know what you're doing is kind of thing.
Exactly.
But the one other one as well too that people are always that I've mentioned as well too is taking the petrol out of the actual thing, because it's not good for the petrol to kind of sit in the lawnmower either for the whole winter.
Exactly, and you'll find the next time you use it, the following spring or whatever,
the old smoke.
Exactly, yeah.
The black smoke.
And you'll be pulling it a couple of times to try and get it to start.
Yeah.
But what we actually recommend now of a lot of our petrol machines is an eco fuel. It's called Aspen.
Okay.
So it's very green, environmentally friendly. It's actually ready mixed with oil.
Okay.
So depending on what machine you're using, so obviously lawnmower is a 4-stroke.
Yeah.
So you don't need an oil mixed with that. But with some of the petrol blowers, hedge trimmers that are 2-stroke, this is ready mixed. So you don't have to muck around getting the right.
And is this something that you can buy off the shelf here?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
We sell it here, Aspen.
So it's called Aspen, and what is that? What's the whole purpose of it? It basically just.
So the main purpose is that it's a cleaner fuel.
Cleaner fuel.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the advantages are that you can also store it for a long period of time.
Okay.
So whereas the petrol, if you leave it in, you're going to have trouble starting it.
Right.
The Aspen starts no problem.
Okay. And is it something that you might add to your lawnmower at this time of the year, or would you try to use that throughout the summer?
It's always maybe it's good to use it when you've just put it in.
Okay.
So maybe wait until spring, summer when you are using these tools again. But as you said, it might be an idea to drain out the petrol oil that's in there already. If you are going to go down this route of Aspen.
Okay, right. So we also have a little bit of WD-40 there in front of us, which is also very good. Tell us what's that good for?
So with, particularly with these hedge trimmers, we get some of them back saying they don't work.
Okay, yeah.
You know, please help. Can we send it back to the company to get it repaired? But actually all it takes is a bit of WD-40.
The magic. The magic that is WD-40. Yeah. Okay, so a lot of the strimmers and stuff like that, they obviously need to be oiled, they need to be lubricated.
Exactly.
And the WD-40 is the best thing. So you'd always recommend people to spray before or after, or what would you
definitely after use. Especially when it's going to be going into the shed for 4 or 5 months. Give it a spray of oil so it doesn't get seized up. And then when it comes around to going back out in your garden, you'll be ready to go.
It won't be broken.
Exactly.
It won't be stuck. Excellent. And look, there's also different things. We were talking about the chainsaws. We have a kind of a maintenance kit now as well. So this might be for someone who's a little bit more confident in kind of operating this. But this is basically to clean the chains, is it?
To sharpen them,
Sharpen the chains.
So you have a couple of different files there for making sure you have the right angle. If you're not comfortable doing this, you can always go to a repair shop or a service shop for chainsaws, and they will be able to do that for you. But we also sell the chain individually as well.
So if you do have a little accident or something has just gone a bit blunt, it's not working well, come in and get a new chain.
Yeah, exactly. And they're a bit easier to replace than sharpening them.
Yeah. Okay. Right, well there's also another pastime of mine, and I do really enjoy it, but a lot of people might have their patios outside or the walls, you know, especially maybe after a storm, and there's a lot of stuff kind of washed up on the walls and they might need to clean the paths and stuff like that. We have a power washer here as well too, Harrison, so tell us a bit about that.
So this is a Husqvarna, very reputable brand, really good quality. With all power washers, they obviously you might find, maybe you have one at home already, do you?
I do, yeah.
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 The probably big annoyance with a lot of them is that the hose gets tangled up.
Yeah.
You know,
It is. Everyone always complains about it. You know, it's one of those things because they can be quite thick.
they can,
and quite
yeah,
hard, like
exactly.
you know.
So when you're dragging them across the pavement, they get tangled up. That's where you get kinks, and then you're thinking, oh, why isn't water coming through?
Mm-hmm.
But the benefit of this one is it actually has an onboard reel,
Okay.
so it keeps it nice and tidy.
Yeah.
You know, you're only using the hose.
Depending on whatever
Depending
you're
on how
doing,
long you need it, yeah.
Now, obviously, it's a little bit longer because if you were, say, power washing the outside of your house, you might need a little bit more length or, you know, something like that. But that's a pretty small one there. But is that a powerful one, Harrison? Could you get a good clean off that?
You'd be able to clean patios with this, yeah, do very light cleaning jobs for your cars and things.
Mm-hmm.
But it wouldn't be able to tackle heavier tasks.
Right. So we wouldn't quite go at the walls of the house before painting.
It will. It just wouldn't be as quick as perhaps bigger models.
A more powerful one.
Yeah. And as I said about the cars, it comes with a range of attachments, like snow foam.
Okay.
Makes cleaning the car very, very easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, excellent machine. Really good.
Yeah. So that is pretty much a lot of stuff covered here, because I guess this time of year you do want to tidy things up. Everyone is looking at things that are falling and dying, and you're looking at the garden and it's looking like a mess. Things like a blower, a strimmer, the chainsaws, even some of the rakes, very, very handy to have. Very important to kind of look after your garden because we don't want to kind of let it go over the winter. A lot of people have that tendency to just let things go and let things lie, and I'll come back to it in the spring. I better not let Miguel hear me say that because he'd kill me, because he's always busy and believes that we should be there. Harrison, listen, thanks so much for all your expertise, and remember, do call into your local garden centre if any of these have kind of gotten your fancy. And of course, here at Boyles, there's a lot of reasons to call in, especially an upcoming tool sale, Harrison, is there?
Yes, of course, yeah.
Yeah. So do make sure you call in, talk to Harrison, any of the guys here at Boyles of Killorglin. That's it for this week. Until next week, we'll be joined by Miguel again on the Kerry Garden Show. Happy gardening.